I rasa topik hari ini yang sangat interesting untuk orang yang sudah biasa buat Excel, and dia kata, oh ini Google Sheet lah, boleh buat apa lah, sama ke dengan Excel or different from Excel. So today I'm not going to talk about the comparison, tetapi saya akan kongsikan apakah feature yang very interesting about Google Sheet that maybe a lot of people tidak tahu lah, ya. But I will always start with the basic dulu, and then after that I will go into some of the interesting features that I find in Google Sheet that will actually help you with your data analysis. Yeah. Now before I begin, I'm going to talk a little bit about Awantech. For some of you who are not familiar with Awantech, recently I pergi ke Sarawak and I spoke to the customer, the prospect kat sana. They say, siapa ni Awantech ah? Awan apa? Cloud provider ke di Malaysia, ya? So let me share a little bit about Awantech. Kalau this is the first time that you join our webinar. So kita ada two lines of business. Kita ada technology business, which is to sell software on the cloud solutions, develop solution for you, ataupun provide managed services, ya? Of course, the other side is that we realize that orang tak akan adopt cloud ataupun teknologi baru kalau dia tak tahu bagaimana, ya. So we have the talent division where we have do two things here. Kita buat also profiling and placement for people. Kita also provide training and certification both for Google Cloud and non-Google Google related courses lah, ya. But I want that as a business in technology ialah kami adalah MSP, Managed Service Provider, appointed under the CFA for Google Cloud, ya. So kalau siapa-siapa agency yang nak procure cloud services, dia boleh and they nak pakai CFA, so they will contact Awantech lah, ya. Now for people who are from private sector, I hope there are people from private sector in this call. You boleh terus call kami saja, ya. Tak payah so it's not part of the CFA, tapi you boleh contact us, ya. So we have been around for a long time. You tengok kita pun listed on Bursa since 2011, ya. Yeah. Okay. Now this is what I mentioned about, yeah. We feel that we need to develop talent in Malaysia as well. So that's why we actually have a full range of talent as a service, yeah. And then on the other side, as I mentioned before, kita boleh provide advice of how to move to the cloud and also services, yeah. So without further ado, I will actually go into our agenda today. First, I'm going to just recap on Google Sheets. I forgot the S here. It's not Google Sheet, yeah. Nanti kita pronounce wrongly. Okay, it's Google Sheet, yeah. And we always refer to it normally as spreadsheet ke Excel. We biasa, right? Always say Excel. Then the second part is that I want to share with you some of the interesting feature about Google Sheets that you can actually work with all sort of data, yeah. Which is different. It's not formula, yeah. It's not pivot table. Everybody dah biasa dengan itu. But I'm going to share with you some of the interesting features. And then of course we have a Q&A. Tetapi kalau you ada soalan, please actually type in the chat or Q&A so that we can get back to you, yeah. Now today kita ada some okay. So let's just move on, yeah. Okay. So let's just do a recap of Google Sheet. Everybody say, oh, Google Sheet ni ialah replacement for Excel, yeah. It's actually more than that, yeah. So I'm not share. Now, Google Sheets is actually part of the suite of editors that kita bundle with Google Workspace, yeah. So you will actually be able to use Google Sheets actually in your free account ataupun the paid account. Of course, the paid account will have more features. So these are some of the products. Let me just do the because I need to go back to my so that I can use pointer, yeah. Nanti you say, YT ni cakap apa, yeah. So over here, we have been covering a few of the productivity tools in our past webinar. So kalau you nak catch up, yeah, please go to our YouTube channel, Awantech, and you can actually catch up on the videos that we cover about these things under the productivity. So today we're going to cover the second one, which is Google Sheet, which is actually part of the collaboration tool. Now, one of the key things about everything in editor ialah you always can create together in real time. So biasanya you boleh nampak in previous demo, we can actually see people typing and sharing the data together. That means you can collaborate in real time macam ni lah. So this example is actually on Google Docs, but it's the same with Google Sheets, yeah. So I will go through a little bit about what are the other things that, just a reminder for you, apakah feature yang basic about all the editors within Google Workspace, yeah, that actually makes you more productive. And then you can have a single version. Now, all of you know that when we work with data, everybody wants to have a single source of truth, betul? Kalau you tak buat, then macam dia, let's say, then everybody say, hey, which data are you using? Think about Google Sheets as a database. Actually, a lot of people use Google Sheets as a database. I will explain a little bit more about what it means, yeah? So you want to be able to connect to a single ataupun multiple Google Sheet. I'm going to share with you also a very interesting concept where two sheets you can keep it in sync. Wow, that's actually quite interesting also, yeah? Now, kalau you want somebody to do action, you boleh just use the add and then the nama dia. Then you can, and they will actually receive a notification what they are supposed to do, yeah? So that is the basic feature for all editors here within the Google Workspace, yeah? Okay, next. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about what is the AI ML capabilities, which I find quite interesting in Google Sheets, yeah. Sometimes we think, okay, kalau kita nak buat formula, ya, kita nak cari, we all have to scratch our head and say, oh, apakah formula that kita perlu pakai? So today I'm going to demonstrate how you can use the feature called Explore, and it can actually highlight the necessary data for you, and maybe the charting, yeah, is suitable for you for that particular set of data, yeah. So it is actually natural language based, and you can actually refine the query lah. And actually it will also show you the formula dia pakai untuk dapatkan the jawapan for you, yeah. So that's the AI ML. Now at the end, what I'm going to do is I am going to share some features about Duet. I think a lot of you may have heard about generative AI, right? So what is generative AI? So I will actually kind of show a little bit. So please hang on until the end. Jangan log off, yeah? So that you want to see a very interesting demo about Duet AI that exists in Google Sheets, yeah? Okay. Let me move on. Now, let's go straight into Google Sheets, and I'm going to switch into the introduction, yeah? Basics, yeah? Apakah basic feature that ada dalam Google Sheets that you may not be aware of? So let me kind of just switch over to my demo. All right, all of you can see, right? My empty Google Sheet. So I said that I'm going to do some demo kat sini, yeah? Now, if you look at the top, you say, oh, macam sama saja seperti Excel, yeah? Now, we have a few more interesting things that we want to, I just want to show you where everything is. Now, dalam file ni, you boleh buat new, and you can create your own template. Now, it's very important that kalau you nak standardize, let's say, some expense sheet ke, ataupun some calculation, you want to be able to create a template so everybody can create a new sheet, spreadsheet, yeah, from the template gallery, yeah. So let's say, for example, now this is our template gallery. You can actually have, right, something like this, yeah. So you can have it for your company, and you can have it for, and this comes with Google. So you boleh tengok, and you can set up your own template so people can actually use it. So this is an example of a template that kita pakai untuk buat quotation for our customer, yeah. Of course, I'm not going to show you the inside, tapi nak just tunjukkan, yeah, on the template. Okay, so I'm going to close this and go back to this, yeah. Now over here, you can do things like import data. So later on, I'm going to show you how to import data from CSV. That is quite common, yeah. Of course, make a copy, everybody tahu, yeah. Okay. Now, after you have created the sheet, you can always share with others. I will show you a little bit. Now, when you first create a sheet, it's always private, yeah. Let me click on this icon here, and you can see that I am the only person who is allowed to access this Google Sheet. Now, I can over here add people that I want to share this with. Let's say, for example, I not share this with Hani, yeah. Oops. I accidentally typed something. This is user problem, yeah. Hani is my colleague who's with me today. So I got the, okay, and I can give her what sort of access, yeah. Sama saja. And important is expiry, ya. Kalau I nak dia only access until a certain date, boleh juga, ya. You boleh set an expiry for dia punya access. So after that date, automatically dia punya access pun sudah revoked, ya. Okay. So this is a way to actually help yourself manage access. Tak payah ingat, oh, I'm gonna revoke ini, ya. Now the next one that kita boleh buat, of course, to email the file. Now everybody very used to email attachment, ya. In Google, of course, we say that kita boleh email a file either as a link or as a reference to the drive ataupun and all kinds of things, ya. So you can email this file. Now you can also download this file. Kalau you suka, ya, you sudah buat and you need to send this to somebody in Microsoft Excel, ya. Oh, I nak send this to Microsoft Excel. You boleh download as Microsoft Excel, then you boleh hantar kat people who need to access it in Microsoft format, ya. Now the other one, of course, is PDF and so on and so forth. Now the very interesting one that I want to share with you is this is the basic, ya. Is that think about how to automate your forms, ya. A lot of you probably ada form request lah, inilah, itulah. And what you do normally is that you print it out, you sign on it, and then you hantar balik, kan? So you see that over here, you boleh automate the approval by clicking on approval and setting your approval chain, ya. Siapa-siapa yang kena approve for this document, ya. So you boleh buat request, and you can say, ya, for example, siapa kena request, and then you can give them a message, add a due date, and lock the file, yeah. So tak boleh, people cannot change. Now this is very important because you not lock the file so that people cannot change during the approval process. Now kalau and then you also say that you want to allow the approver to edit the file so that dia boleh buat comment without resetting all the approval flow, yeah. So you can actually do this, and we do this a lot in our text sekarang. So that because we want to automate the process of doing electronic approval, yeah, without additional tools. So this actually works out well for us. And then you can see the trail lah, siapa approve when, siapa tak approve, semua tu, yeah, and so on and so forth, yeah. Okay. Now the next is that I want to tunjukkan ialah, of course, you can do things like put a label so you can find the file. And very importantly is the version history, which I will come back later on this, yeah. Now, a lot of people say, ini ya, writing. Google Sheets ni ya, Google Workspace semua kena online, ya. I buat online. Kalau tak ada internet lah, my internet go down, ya. I tak boleh kerja. No, not true, ya. So you can say that I want to work offline, boleh juga, ya. But I don't like to do offline because I tak nak dia sync lah. Nanti after that I say, oh, tak tahu when it syncs. I really like the idea that dia buat they save the file for me, ya. Every time, yeah, I tak payah risau. Oh, ada problem, then my copy all gone now, all my data all gone, yeah. Now, the next one that I want to show is probably, this is basic. I tak nak talk about basic, yeah. Okay, view, semua orang biasa, yeah. Please lah, whatever, group the columns together. I takkan show. Now, this is the important and interesting part about Google Workspace, yeah. Now, of course, everybody knows this, so tak payah buat apa-apa. Let's look at some of the things like smart tips, ya. Okay. Now, smart tips ini, I akan tunjukkan ialah you can extract data from a people's directory ataupun a file or a calendar invite. Now, biasanya sometimes after we invite somebody to a meeting, saya nak extract the email address of people, ya. So I can go to calendar event and I akan kata which one, ya. This webinar, ya. This webinar I nak extract. Yeah, this is the one. Yeah. Data extraction, can you see? So dia kata apa you nak extract, ya? So maybe I nak extract attendees, ya? Macam ni. So I kata okay, I nak extract attendees, and you say yes, I nak extract attendee. So sekarang you boleh nampak all the email address of people that were invited to the meeting, ya? Something like that. So this is one of those interesting things that I thought that I wanted to share, so that you can use this as an index file. So sometimes you other lost like, oh okay, I nak tahu file ini kat mana, I want to extract information about the file. So you boleh use a Google Sheet to do this, yeah. So let me just delete this. Okay. Now let's go into other insert function. Later on, I'm going to show you things like timeline, and I'm going to do it together with my demo for Duet, yeah. Okay. So you can actually generate a timeline for project plans. Over here, you boleh insert checkbox, you boleh create drop down. Now, what do you mean by create drop down? Let's say, for example, saya ada satu sheet. Maybe I'll just say that this is a task, but I'll just show you what we can do with data entries, yeah? So task ID, I'll jump about to other product, yeah? Task ID, task name, assignee, siapa you assign to, and then after that, you boleh buat day, and then you got buat status, and then maybe you nak buat links, yeah? Links to files. So mungkin you ada a file like this, and you boleh do things with this, yeah? So over here, right, you can actually say, this format, I tak nak people touch. Remember I mentioned that you boleh use Google Sheets as a database, ya. So let's say I kata, mungkin ini saya nak jadi dia a Google form, ya, so that people can do data entry and update to this. So what you can do is that you boleh pakai tools and say, I want to create a new Google form as a data entry. So this is something that people, this is interesting, but I will show you another method of doing this in a very interesting way. Yeah? So let's say, for example, Google Form ini. So now it has a sheet that I can actually do and add things that I want to update, yeah, things like that. So this is like, for example, you nak update in that sheet, but this one is more like I'm going to update things inside. I'm going to go back and show you another interesting extension or tools that now come with all Google Workspace, yeah. It's called App Sheet, yeah, APPSHEET, yeah. So let me go back to this, and now I have a extension called App Sheet, and I can even create an app from my data in this, and I can populate this data using App Sheet. So let me just quickly show a short demo on how to create an app. Sekejap ya. Now, if I do a plus, oops, I think we used the wrong thing. Okay, hold on now. It went and used it as a form. Salah. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, let me get back to that later. Yeah. So, yes. Okay. Oh yes. Yes. This one is the approval features. Normally, the approvers will be somebody in your organization, kan? All right. You wouldn't be doing approval outside your organization. It's actually more your own people whose email you boleh nampak lah. But I think you can, I don't remember whether you can do it for a free version. Yeah. Let me just check, yeah. Okay, let me just, nanti I akan check with another ID, then I will let you know. Yeah. Okay. App sheet create. Okay. When you actually app sheet ni, kalau you tak ada subscriptions, it will be a free prototyping version. So you boleh generate an app sheet. Just now I bought some mistake here, so I'm going to do again later on. The app sheet too, when you don't get a subscription-based workspace, you tak dapat the version that you can deploy. You boleh, you only can do it macam like prototyping saja, or main-main saja. You nak do the concept, then you tak boleh macam deploy. That means other people cannot use. Macam tu. But it comes with all versions of workspace, yeah. It's actually, we are actually internally in Awantek pun, we are looking more and more into developing some of these forms. Instead of buat form, kita nak buat app sheet. Senang, yeah. Later on, I'll get back to this one because I want to show you other cool features. So I will postpone the app sheet again later. I don't know whether we're doing a session on app sheet. Nanti I can set. And if you are very interested in app sheet, kita akan buat satu webinar on app sheet alone, yeah. So that it will show you all the nice features, bagaimana you nak buat. So I will actually show you the free version and then the paid version. So that at least you know, kalau you tak ada paid version, you boleh main. Now, for people who are on MyGov, you see you sudah boleh pakai. Kalau you minta. Let's say for example, anybody from any of the government agency, kalau you interested, you just have to let Mampu know, MyGov UC team know that you nak pakai app sheet for your organization, you boleh turn it on. So it's by default turned off for you. So, but we have been getting a lot of requests of people who actually want to use app sheet, so therefore they turn it on. Yeah, okay, all right. Now let's get back to the main topic about data. Now data is very important because data, you need the capturing, yeah. Okay, let me now go into kalau you are the data, and maybe I'll go into the very interesting part where how you can use sheets to, of course you know how to import data, but I think more importantly is how to explore the data, yeah? How to use the AI part of the data, which is quite interesting, which I'm going to import something that everybody understands, which is football information, yeah? I was trying to find interesting data for you to do the demo. Kalau I buat finance data, semua orang kata, ya, ini boring. Okay, it's not boring to find for accountants, but I think football, everybody can relate, yeah, to football. Okay, so let me go back to this and delete all this. I know why you keep on doing this. Let me delete this. Okay. Sorry, yeah. Now I know why it keeps generating the thing. Okay, sorry, yeah. Let me delete. Yes, I want to delete. So let me go back to the data and I can do an import. Now this is usually, you said, okay lah, I boleh import data from my laptop, and I actually downloaded some CSV file. Okay, and under here, so I ada goal scorers. When I open, dia akan tanya saya, do you want to create a new sheet, ataupun you nak create a new spreadsheet, ataupun you nak insert a sheet, yeah? So I kata yes, I want to insert a sheet because I want to put all the football information in a single deck lah, just for fun, yeah. Now, of course, this one everybody tahu dia akan import the data. Itu saja ni, okay? Dia masih importing. Right. Sorry ya, tergendala sikit. Yeah, okay. So I have a CSV file and now I have data about the scorer and which minute they score, yeah? Way back from 1916, yeah? Okay. Now, there's also another way for us to get data from other sources, which is kita boleh connect to a product called BigQuery. Now, I'm going to just quickly show you, yeah. Now, if you actually implement a data warehouse, so in our case in Google, kita pakai satu serverless data warehouse called BigQuery, yeah. So I can actually connect to BigQuery and extract some data to analyze, yeah. And how I do it is actually very easy. I boleh buat data connectors, connect to BigQuery, yeah. Now, I sudah buat some preparation. Yeah. I think it's because, let me switch to another tab, because this one dia terlalu banyak. I want to show you something less. This is another demo, sorry, yeah. So when I show this one, let me look at this one here. So you can see this one that I'm using another ID to access. This one has less access to, I reduce access to the BigQuery. So dalam data connector ni, I boleh connect to my data warehouse, and I chose this one. Now in this particular case, right, I have actually in that project allow people to access what we call public data set. Yeah. Now, public data set, I want to show you a little bit, is data that kita publish that everybody can use to what analysis. Yeah. In this case, it could be things like crime ataupun apa-apa sajalah yang ada census data ke, COVID data ke. So all of us actually boleh share data. Let's say Malaysia, kalau kita ada agency that nak share data, you boleh actually host it on this BQ public data. You tak payah bayar apa-apa pun. So what you're doing is that you're contributing back to the society data dan kita sudah collect lah, yeah. So let me go and look at a piece of data that is quite interesting, which is, in this case, I actually chose a London crime. Yeah, just now you saw I actually did London crimes in London. Yeah, for example, this one, and it tells me that they actually capture crime in London. Yeah, now let me connect. So this data is a public data set that kita connect, and now we are actually doing a connection to that, and then so we can do things with it. Yeah. So it's 13 million rows. Yeah. Tapi what you get is normally a subset saja. Yeah. A preview saja. Yeah. Because otherwise it's too much data that you actually extract. Yeah. Okay. Now what you do is that from here, then you boleh buat queries and so on and so forth. Later on, I will go back and show you some of the query, but let's go back to our football. Yeah. So this is a way that you can actually connect to a different data source. These are the connectors that is by default, yeah, that you can actually connect using Google Sheets to do analysis, yeah. Let me actually go back to the other demo sheet, yeah. And we are back here. Now, just now remember the goal scorer. You nampak ni, right? Now, I'm going to say, okay, dia banyak data kan. I say, let me try to find some information about the data. Tetapi I tak tahu apa formula saya nak pakai, ya. Now, let me just close this. And how I do it is that I use what we call the explore function. Yeah. So the explore function can be found now. Kat sini, yeah. Right. Now, this is the AI part of Google Sheets, yeah. That we actually had it for a very, very long time. Tetapi a lot of people macam tak tahulah, yeah. Now, let me just let it load the data. And can you see this one, right? Ask about this data. Apa you nak tanya? So in this case, I want to ask top scorer. Macam who is the top scorer lah, ya? Hopefully it comes out. Sorry, yeah. Okay, can you see? Ronaldo, yeah? So from the data itself, they kata, okay, I actually look at column E, okay? Now, you can see the formula, yeah? So the formula actually looks at, and it's very complicated, kan? Kalau you want to figure out, okay, how on earth do I find out who is the top scorer? I kena cari the formula to do. But now when I say who is the top scorer, dia akan answer formula. So Ronaldo is the top scorer with a count of 91 times their score. Yeah, so he's the top scorer. Now we can also say who own goal. Yeah, I think I tried this one. Who is the top own goal? I think I tried this that day. Yeah, own goal. Siapa scored the most own goal? Okay. Oops, no, not this one. Oh, top scorer. No, I forgot what I asked. Yeah. Okay, so this is the guy. Christian Broly did it 3 times. They scored 3 own goals. Yeah. Now, of course, then you say, oh, do I believe I think? Nanti ya, you can check lah. Yeah. Okay, of the data. So this is how you can actually ask questions about the data. Yeah. But not only that, I'm not tunjuk in one more demo, is that you can even cleanse the data and dia boleh suggest how you can cleanse your data. Yeah. So let me just go quickly through it and say, yes, I answer all this. So it all depends on what sort of data you have. Dia akan answer the different questions about this. Yeah. So it is, but of course they akan prompt you. Now just remember I said top scorer, then I underscore. They understand. They akan correct the information for you. Yeah. Now let me go and open up a sheet that I have reloaded with the football result with 3 things, and I want to show you how the AI part can highlight data cleansing properties. Yeah. So let me just close this. And I go over to this one here, results. Okay, so in this case, right, I can do things like I nak buat data cleanup. So there are the function called cleanup suggestion, yeah, or duplicate. So let me clean up. Oh, this is not the one. Is it? Should up. There should be one. Sorry, yeah. Should. Oh. I think I didn't highlight the data that I want to clean up. Just a minute. Oh, see, this is called user problem, yeah? Let me try again. Data. Okay. Sorry, not this part. Now I'm going to look. What? This one? Maybe it's this one. Yeah. I looked at this too much yesterday. I think I sekarang sleepy dah. Okay, let me look at this. Because there must be something wrong with the data before they boleh suggest lah. So in that particular sheet, dia kata tak ada problem, so therefore it doesn't suggest any cleanup lah. Let's look at this one. Data cleanup suggestion. Right? No suggestion. Kenapa? There was another one that I answered. Okay, tak apa. So let's say for example, kalau saya ada data yang tak this is what happened. This is what we call Murphy's Law lah, ya. Dia tak betul. It was like okay, tak apa. Let me skip that, and then if I can find it, here the data. Let's say for example, dia mungkin ada spelling mistake. Dia akan tell you there are the spelling mistake in the data itself. But I'm quite surprised because yesterday I bought the other data suggestion. Maybe they clean up for me already, so I had a problem. Yeah. Okay. So let me get back to what I wanted to do here. So you can have like, as I mentioned, like the data cleansing, ataupun the range, and so on and so forth. Now, the other one that I wanted to kind of share with you is, I boleh buat macam, let's say for example, I ada data dalam dua sheet ya, and I want to bring it into the sheet, tetapi what we normally do is that, what do? We copy and paste, kan? We copy and paste and say, so when somebody changes the original sheet, kita tak nampak. Because kita copy and paste. When we copy and paste, dia tak ada reference to the previous punya sheet lah, ya. So therefore, dia macam, then you lose the connection, ya. Then you say, somebody actually complained to me before, YT, ngapa tak boleh lookup, tak boleh link dua sheet and all that. So I want to show you this one, which is called import, yeah. Now I actually prepared one. Sorry ya, today macam dia slow sikit. Okay, can you see this here? So I can do a formula called import range here, right? So trust me, this import range here actually is pointing to the same sheet, tetapi results, this column, A20 to I24, yeah? So this is the original sheet. I think you have to trust me, yeah? Because I don't have to import the data again, yeah? So let's say, for example, I ada satu sheet. So this can be a totally separate spreadsheet, yeah? They don't have to be in the same file, yeah? So I have data here that actually I'm pointing to in the sheet 4 that I now did a link. So pretend that this result is in a different file and I'm actually referring to it in sheet 4, yeah? Okay, now, so in sheet 4, I'm actually looking at 1881, the game, and it was in March, and it was Wales against Scotland, and it was a friendly match, and then there's a false, yeah? Now, so remember this column here, when I go back to the result, because this one came from A20, yeah? So when I go to result A20, and I change the original file. So what I want to show you is that there is a link. So kalau kita pergi ke this, remember this is the column, yeah? And now I'm going to change the source file to true. All right? Now I change this file, but I can't tell everybody who has copied my file as the, remember Google Sheet can be a database. Oh, I tak boleh beritahu dia, oh I change this data, right? Then you say, nanti susah, right? But if you go in and look at, if I refer to the extraction, tengok, data dia updated. So whoever actually is referring to your data as a subset will automatically also get the updates that you did in your original file. Yeah. So this is something that is quite interesting that I found that I wanted to share with you. So when you want to link data from satu sheet to another sheet, yeah, you actually can link the data using this function called import range, and then you give the name of the file, yeah, and then you say what is the range you not refer to, yeah, for your calculation. So I think that this is actually quite interesting. So that's why I wanted to share this part with you, yeah. Okay. Now I think I haven't been asking. Tak ada soalan lah semua, yeah, tak ada soalan. So okay, yeah. Okay. Now these are some of the things that maybe you tak rasa, oh, I didn't even know that you can actually do this. Yeah. All right. Now there is another case, of course, that kita boleh buat is something like a let me go back to my result sheet ini. Okay. So this is one of those things that I boleh buat as an import and resulting. Yeah. So and so on. So there is also something that you boleh buat, which is let me see. Okay. So let me change this back. If you don't believe me, you say, I think tipu ni. Okay. Right. If you go back to sheet 4, you'll find that I have actually changed it back to false. Okay. See? Okay, so it can be, and anytime you update, dia akan get the same ID to, the data back to the original. Now, of course, there's also another powerful language which is called query. Yeah? Okay, now, so let me just go back to a empty sheet. Wait, just give me a minute. I akan pergi ke just give a minute if you're looking at the old sheet, because I'm looking for the sheet that I want to show you. Yeah. Yes. Let me go back to the screen. Sometimes I forget to look at question here. Yes. Okay. Is it possible that we can import the range? I don't think you can refer to Excel. Yeah. Is this? No. I don't think so. I haven't tried, but I don't think so. Yeah. Because I believe that this is a function in Google Sheet. Yeah, but I can test it. One day I'll let you know. Sorry, Ali. Yeah. I know you all are still using Excel. Yeah, so no problem. You can still use Excel and interoperate with Google Sheet. Yeah. Okay. All right. But I just find that this is a quite interesting. All right. Let me just look at this. Okay, let me look for my file. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Let me go back. I'm actually looking at different tabs. Yes. Google can only work. What do you mean? Sorry. This is the online collaboration. Because Excel itself may not be able to support some of the features that we have. That's why we can't use those functions within Excel, yeah, or refer to Excel. Yeah. So because this whole thing is about the Google punya ecosystem, so because we have these features, then we can do this here. So we may not be able to support, let's say, offline Excel file. Because number one is on your laptop, we will probably need permissions and all that, so it's a little bit tricky here. Right? I hope that helps. Yeah. Well, one way you can do is to open your Excel. Now, let's say, for example, I give you a way out here. If, let's say, they have their own collab. I don't think they can work with Google Sheet. You can always ask them. So one of the things that you can actually try to do is, we can actually, of course, update a Microsoft Excel file if it is sitting on Drive, yeah? So we can collaborate with that. Now, another way is for you is that if the source data is in your Excel, you can actually open here. Thank you for answering here. So open the file and save it as a Google Sheet because you want to keep the original, and then you can link it. So that is one way that you can leverage on the function. Yeah. So that might be helpful because it doesn't mean that we cannot work with it. Now, if the data is very basic, there's no hidden formula, because one of the things that we find difficulty is that sometimes Excel has very complicated formulas that we can't convert easily. We need to use other methods to convert the macros and all that. So if it is a file that you use macam like a data file, then we can actually use it quite easily as another data source that we can actually link it. Yeah. Now the interoperability is because we have not decided on a standard of how to exchange data, and therefore it is a little bit difficult. Yeah. And we are not best of friends. Unfortunately, people are fans of either one. So I used to come from a Microsoft world. I had to use Microsoft, and I couldn't do online. I would tell you that I have maybe just share a little bit of story. I have very difficulty doing collaboration in Microsoft because I have to use the online version. Now, the online version doesn't really have all the features of the offline version, right? The client version. So when I'm doing something, they'll tell me, oh, this is not supported, this is not supported. Then I have to work with an offline version, and then I have to figure out whether the changes were merged or whatever it is, yeah. So of course, then you say, hey, can I actually track changes within Sheets and all that? Of course you can, yeah. You can also do things like know the changes that you have done, and later on I'll show you a short demo on how you can see the difference between all the different versions. In fact, let me just do it now, yeah? Okay. So just now you saw me change a lot of things in the demo sheet. Now, then you say, Whiting was changing this and changing that and so on and so forth. So we can go to things like version history and see the version history, and it actually tells me that between which version and which version, what are the changes that I already made. Let me just wait for it to load. Oh, it was empty. Okay, that's interesting. Was it empty? That's weird. Let me go to another sheet where I have some data that I changed since yesterday. This is Murphy's Law, Like when I want to do something, it doesn't work. Okay. Blame it on the user, yeah? Okay. All right. So this is the current version, and if I want to go back and see a version that I did, can you see how I was still working on this last night, yeah? Maybe not this sheet. Okay, let me look at, blank. Okay. Loading. I'll blame it on the internet, yeah. Hey. All right. So, but anyway, while we're waiting for this, see, Murphy's Law. So you can actually see the different dates that I save, and it actually auto-save like every minute of, well, you just go back, and what you do is that if, let's say you accidentally, oops, I deleted something, right? You can either restore the version or make a copy, yeah? And when you make a copy, it will always have the timestamp of the file so that you can actually say, well, at least I know that this was a version that I had last night. Now, this is not the first time it happened to me, and especially when I'm doing presentation slide, I always get really a Murphy Law punya experience where I do everything, and then you know what happened? I open my laptop, gone. Now, somehow, somewhere, then I start, or some of the slides were changed. And then I said, mengapa my slide changed? So I went back to the history and found out that my colleague went and deleted some of my slides. Yeah, which is by accident, because they thought I was doing something, and then it's like, oh, so I actually had to revert to the version that I was using. Yeah. Okay. Now let me just kind of go back to what I wanted to do, which is showing you something quite not so interesting, which is like let me just share this tab. Share this tab here. So this is the format that I will get when I actually retrieve something from BigQuery. So remember that just now I remember. Now why I chose this and say, hey, why you choose of all things? Because this was the one that was easier to demonstrate, because it was based, it's small enough and it has some data that I could search. Unfortunately, it's a crime database here. So there was like all the crimes that happened in London during a period of time, and I'm going to work with it. Now, normally when I'm actually connecting to a data source and I want to do something with it, of course, you can add things like a calculated column, but I always like to work with an extract here, because then it doesn't change. Now, why do I say that? Is because the database is always alive here. Your data warehouse is always being updated. Now, one of the things I found quite I won't say irritating, tapi very disturbing when I'm trying to do some analysis is it's being updated and it gets refreshed. Yeah. So then it's like, oh, okay. Of course, you can say I want to schedule the refresh, meaning that this data source will be refreshed, not like all the time, not real time. Tetapi I boleh kata, oh, refresh during a particular period, or manual or whatever. Yeah. So I like to do an extract. Now, what does it mean? So I can do like an extract of the data, and I said, well, I want to extract this data, and I want to do it to a new sheet. Yeah. So let's say I want to create an extract, and I can now make a copy of the data from the data warehouse into a sheet. Yeah. So it will actually say that, oh, okay, let me make a copy of the data that I have actually extracted from the data warehouse. Now, their complaint is because, yeah, I think it has too much data. Right. So let me go back to something that I already extracted. Yeah. All right. See, it always happens when I'm trying to do a live demo. Yeah. So this is the data that I actually have extracted, and now I can perform things like explore and so on and so forth. Now, sometimes you may say, well, actually, I want to do a query of a particular field, yeah, and I hope that I don't let myself down. So when I do like this, okay, I can actually run a visualization query where I can say, what is the data range that I want to look at, yeah, and then what is the query I want to run against the data, yeah. So let's say, for example, for this data range, I want to say that I want to look at this data, maybe from here to here. I hope it works. Yeah. Okay. Now, I actually have a prepared one, so I hope it doesn't let me down here. Okay. So it actually tells you, okay, this is the range that I want to, and what is the query that I want to run, which is select, okay, maybe whatever value that I want, let's say column C, okay, where D equal to, let's say, let's pick a different crime. Or maybe I want to make it easy for me, right? I'll go back to explore. I say, okay, I'm actually too lazy to do this. Yeah. And I say, I don't know how to write this query. Again, then I go back to my explore, which is under my tools. And I can say, okay, and I need to say what data I'm looking at, because otherwise they say, oh, it's all blank. So sorry about today. Yeah, a bit weird, right, today? My internet, I'm fine. I pakai stuff, medium. All right. So you see, for example, it will really suggest to me a pivot table. Yeah. So for example, they say, oh, there were cases of harassment, 4,833, murders is 855. So they can actually tell you suggestion about how you could do like a pivot table, and then you can do analysis of the thing and so on, like what kind of charts that you want to do. Now, this is based on, let's say, the count of the crime or whatever code, yeah? So this could be it, or you can ask the question, because actually this AI, right, I think if you think about it, it actually makes it a bit lazy, right? Now we don't learn about the thing. So we just say that we can say top. Remember, I always ask about top. Okay, top minor category, where borrow is, let's say, let's choose Camden. Okay, so it tells me in Camden, right? The top minority that is actually harassment. Okay, so it's like, oh, okay. If I want to analyze more, then I will say, okay, how about if the borrower was Brent? Now you don't always have to go and run this query, right? Because remember, there's a formula, and then you can actually use the formula next time and run the query against the data itself. Yeah, so that you don't have to keep doing this. Yeah. So in this case, it shouldn't be harassment. Yeah, Brent. Let's go. I did Brent again. Oh, I'm so sorry. It should be something. Oh, Brent. Yes, correct. It's also hey. Let me try another one. Barnett. I don't know why it's not working. Hey, Mr. AI. Hey. Keeps giving me. So Camden is also harassment. How come? Okay, but anyway, so that means harassment in London is pretty high. Yeah. So let me kind of like look at another field that I wanted to share, which is, let's forget about it. Let's say, for example, that we want to make sure that when people do data entry, they actually select and put in the right information. Yeah, it must be one of these. Now it could be that we want to do things like minor category, and then we can say that I want to add what we call a data validation rule. Yeah, so the data validation rule means that it must be one of these values. Yeah, it cannot be more. So of course we are not going to have, because I highlighted the header as well. So in this case, probably I said, well, I don't want this. And then I can say that in this case, right, I can put a color to the different crimes. Let's say it's going to be, it's up to you. It's totally up to you. And then you can do things like blue for harassment, and you are done. Now, what does it mean is that when you actually do a new data entry, there's a few things. You can see the color, but you can also see like people, when they edit this column, it has to be one of those values. So it's actually quite easy for you to say that, when I want to use this as a data source for additional data, then I already have my data validation rule that I have set up, and it has to be one of those values, and it cannot be another value, and it will reject, for example. So let's try that just to prove this. Yeah. There's one value from the list, and let's say I want to insert. Now it's the same thing, right? I want to insert a row, and then above. Now the data is quite big. This was a little bit slow. Okay, so you can see that when I want to fill up this field, I have to choose one of those. So this is what the validation rule will do, right? And then it also highlights to you about stuff like this. Now, I'm actually at 11:06, and I think that I want to kind of move on to showing you something like duet. Yeah. So I'm going to do it here. Now, for example, I'm going to do a brand new sheet. Now, this is the ID that I have duet access. I don't have duet access in the other ID. So therefore, now I want to create a new sheet for you. And I'm going to say duet now. So duet is really the AI embedded within Google products. There's AI in many things. And how do you know that it's duet? Is this, yeah? So this is in Sheets, it's called Help Me Organize. Now, I do a lot of demos in different places, and you can say that I want to help me create a holiday plan. I like to do this, right? No, project plan. Project plan for renovating my kitchen. Sorry, create project. I hope they understand that I left out the plan. Okay, so Duet will actually kind of go in and find out and create. Then some of you say, hey, but it's the same, right? Like, so you can actually keep enhancing it. So if you keep creating it and say that I want to enhance this, do you like this method, and so on and so forth. If you like it, then you insert. Okay, is there a question? Yes, hold on. Okay, yes. Duet, yes. It's called Duet AI, correct. You can look it up. So Duet AI is the name we use for our, well, if you hear, for example, Microsoft talking about Copilot, blah, 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 it's kind of the same concept where we actually embed AI within the product itself. You don't have to create your own app, okay? All right. Let me go back to the other screen so that I can continue. So of course, you can continue to create other stuff with it. And if you like, you say, okay, due date, hi, you can change it. They suggest you can add different priorities to it. And you can say, well, I want to add another one, which I think that, you know, I want it to be green. And we say that this is medium. So some of the tasks could be medium and so on. Apply to all. So now, can you see? Medium becomes an option for all the options. And over here, they probably have complete, in progress, to do, and you can do this. Now, the other way, of course, is that you can say that I want to generate a timeline. Oh, for this. Do I want to see in a calendar? Okay, so this is where we will say insert timeline. And let me choose the data. They will actually prompt me to insert, to choose the thing. So they say, well, what is your range? Okay, that you want to do this. And you say, well, I want to do this until this. I hope I'm not hiding my screen. Okay. And then I say, okay, oops, I forgot this. Yeah. So this is generally the generated timeline for your project plan. Yeah. So you kind of have it in a calendar view if you like it and so on. You want it in weeks or you want it in whatever, and you want it to be condensed, smaller. You want it to be smaller so that you can see everything. So it's really up to you how you want to adjust the timeline. Now, of course, it's not as perfect as, let's say, you have a product that is just for project planning, but at least that gives you kind of like an interesting view of how you can actually create a project plan. Now, sometimes I'm very lazy, right? I'm trying to create a project plan, but so I use Duet to do this. Now, I'm going to show you another interesting thing about Duet is, of course, this is the boring part, right? So I said, well, can I ask Duet to do things like plan a holiday for me? Okay, plan a 2-week vacation to South Korea. Okay, not South Korea. Okay, somebody will say, why don't you do Sabah, Sarawak? I say, okay, Sabah. Okay, so I want to spend 2 weeks in Sabah and I want to do this. Now, so that one is really like quite standard. Say, oh, when you do something and then this. Now, what I found is that every time you redo it, they give you a different itinerary, which is kind of interesting. So if you're planning a holiday with your family, you can always say, okay, this is version 1, this is version 2. Let me just insert, overwrite the data. Okay. Let me just kind of zoom in. It's a little bit small here. Okay. So you will say, yeah, wow. Okay. So let's ignore the column G because it came from the previous plan. So they say, well, you have 2 days, I said 2 weeks, right? So they suggest to us that why don't we go here and visit these places. Now, a little bit like weird, right? Is because they forgot that we have to fly from KK to Sandakan. So sometimes it's not perfect, but I think the itinerary is pretty cool, yeah? So, of course, this is just part of the duet function that I wanted to show, is that you could start with something and then build on top of it, yeah? So this data is actually quite interesting because some countries do not have a holiday tag. You try doing KL, right? It's a bit weird. So KL doesn't have so many places for us to visit. But I think that when we were doing this Sabah and Sarawak, it was actually quite interesting because the itinerary really looks quite cool. Yeah. So I'm actually at 11:15 now. I think I didn't I wanted to cover lots of other stuff, but I wasn't able to because I got a bit distracted and I had a bit of Murphy's Law. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to switch back to the screen and see if you have any questions. Oh, to create a chart using duets. Well, I haven't tried doing a chart with, I need the data to do it. Yeah. So let's see whether I could do it, but I don't have the data. Let me try to copy it. Let's see. I think for now, duet is, I'm not sure. I don't think it's GA yet. So I'm not sure whether it's able to do charts, but I can do charts. Let's see. So if I show it and it fails, right, it's going to be pretty embarrassing. So what I'm going to do is that you leave the question there and then we'll get back to you, or we'll just put the Q&A somewhere and then we'll get back to you. Yeah. Okay. Because I haven't tried doing a chart with you guys using the data, unfortunately. Yeah. Okay. Because I'm not the expert. My expert is actually not here. But anyway, so any other questions that we might have? Oh, how to open Duet. Okay, now not everybody will get Duet. It's actually, you can opt for a trial, but you actually have to pay for it. Okay, let me go back and show you how you access Duet if you want to try it. So let me go back to the, sorry, wait, hold on. This one, and I'm going to show, so you can see this, right? Do you see this? Help me organize. This is how you call Duet. Okay, I hope I answered that question. Let me just go back and look at what other question that I might have. Yes. Okay. How do you open? Yeah, I got that. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Any more questions? So what I'll do is that I want to go back and share something with you, two other things before we kind of end this, before I get a little bit distracted. So let me go back to my slide. Right. So we've gone through some of these. Actually, I plan to, let's see, just go back here. So if you want, there is actually a, oops, my phone is not showing up. That's weird. What happened? Yeah. I don't know. I need to share for a moment. Just give me a minute. I don't know what happened to my slide. It doesn't appear. Okay. My graphics don't appear. Okay. Now, let me go back. Yeah. Okay. I wanted to share with you some free training that we are organizing. Is again by yours truly. So, yeah. Okay. So we are running a free class called the Big Data and Machine Learning Fundamentals, which is on Google Cloud on the 28th of November. You can scan this QR code. If you want to take a picture of the QR code, if you don't want to register now, it will be a one-day class that we will go through some of the fundamentals of big data and machine learning that you can use. So I talked a little bit about BigQuery, So we'll be covering a little bit about that, like how do you massage the data so that it is ready for you to do visualization or analysis. Yeah. So remember, we are actually running this on the 28th. Yeah. Take a picture if you need to of the QR code. And then I also have a bonanza that we want to share is that if you want to sign up for Google Workspace and you haven't done it, we actually have offer for business starter and enterprise starter, and this is the price. I hope you can see the screen, but if you can't, we do have a recording that you can go back and look at it. I'll leave it on the screen, yeah. And now actually I'll hand it back to Shira. Yeah.